Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and I've got the Rezult, Elite Rezult, and the Elite Envision. So 38 inches, 31 inches. Now, we've set them both up with the same setup for target, and we're going to compare them. Now, I've already shot them with 90% let off. Now, for me, 90% let off was a bit big, and the draw length felt too long. So with some bow manufacturers, you can only change your draw length half an inch. So let's say you're 28.5, that's what you're set to. Now with Elite, you can change it by a minute amount. So with my old PSE bow, I had two bows identical. I had one on one draw length and one on another draw length. So my draw length is obviously somewhere in the middle. So I'm somewhere between 28.5 and 29. So these bows were set up at 29 inches and they felt too long for me. Now what I've done is I've moved the draw stop forward, so that way. So what that has done, it has reduced the let off. So the valley, so when you sort of draw, it peaks up and then it starts to, hit the valley, and then the valley moves along. What it's done is cut the valley shorter. So I don't have such a big valley, it's going to be a small valley. Now what that would do is shorten my draw length. So with the PSE, it's got a similar system where you can move the module forward on some of their bows. You're changing the draw length. And with this bow, I'm changing my draw length. So I had two ways I can adjust my draw length on this bow. I can move the module to keep the valley, or I can move the draw stop. So I've changed this bow from 90% let off to 70% let off. And that's what we're going to try to see how it feels, see how the draw length feels. But with the Elite, you can also change the module to make a minute difference. So it gives you complete flexibility. And with the Elite, you can also fit limb stops to change the wall. So if you like a more solid wall, you can fit the limb stop to that as well. So the Elite's a bit unique as far as you can change the whole way the bow feels. So we're going to compare this. So we're going to start off with the Rezult. Now I haven't changed my sight settings from 90% let off. And we're just going to compare how this feels to shoot. Now this one here, this vein here is a little bit tatty at the back. Now if you leave it like that, now that's much better than it being flapping around. So that will fly fine. The other one wouldn't fly terribly good. And when will I refletch that arrow? Probably the day before a tournament. So when I shot the Rezult, the draw length felt too long and the valley felt like I was holding nothing back here. So I didn't feel like I had a positive follow through. Now, if you're shooting a hunting bow, you might be happy with 90% because you might be wanting to aim on the animal for longer. With target, you may want to aim for longer and not feel the pressure. So you'll see a whole bunch of target shooters who shoot high let off and then a whole bunch who shoot low let off. So the advantages of low let off, you're holding more weight, so theoretically you'll move around the target less. You'll feel less wind pressure. So with a recurve and you shoot, I'm holding 50 pounds. I feel very little affected. I don't feel very affected by wind at all with the recurve. With compound, I feel like I'm getting blown around everywhere because I'm only holding back 10 pounds. If I'm holding back 50 pounds, I feel like I'm less affected by wind. So let's just have a feel of what this shoots like, and let's see what the difference of the bow physically feels like. So the draw here is all the same, but when I get back to the valley, it just stops. So this draw cycle now feels like a Hoyt, where you've got basically no valley. It just poof, it hits the valley and there's just no valley. Now the Elite, the Matthews draw cycle is very similar to that. So very short valley. So this feels more Hoyt-like. However, the draw cycle is much easier than the Hoyt to draw. So let's see where this hits on the target. Now, while the let off is 70%, the draw length is physically shorter. So I've shortened the draw length. So basically, I'll get less speed. That's my theory. So I think this arrow will hit lower on the target, but I don't think there'll be much difference because it's only that much. It's only less than half an inch of draw length adjustment at 10 pounds worth of speed I've lost. So I don't think there'll be much difference. Well, there goes that I was wrong again. And I'm always wrong. I'm always happy to be wrong. Well, sometimes. Obviously, it had a lot more speed. Now, I didn't change the poundage. I didn't change anything. All I've done is stop the bow in the valleys sooner than later, and you can see the amount of speed being picked up. The bow feels so much faster. When I did the review on this bow, literally this morning, I was like, the bow feels like a slow target bow. The bow now feels, you can, and I don't know if you can see, but when you take the shot, my whole arm sort of flies back because it's under more tension. And we won't shoot this one because it's getting shot. So the bow itself feels completely different, and it's one of the things I really like about Elite. You can play around with the bow to change the feel of the bow, to make the bow. You can experiment with big valleys, low valleys. You can experiment with limb stops, no limb stops. Now, that time a bit of wind came up, and when I did the review first time, the sight pin went out in the blue. That time it went to the 9 ring. Now, it doesn't feel as easy to aim with the low let off. So when I was aiming before, it felt a lot easier to aim. So let's say you're shooting indoor, you may prefer a high let off. But if you're shooting outdoors in the wind, you may prefer less let off. So this bow, the vibration feels the same. I don't feel any vibration in the stabilizer at all, where I think I felt some this morning in the review, a little bit down the end. I don't feel anything. The follow through feels good. It's braking nicely. Let's just fire one more. Just going to fire one more. So when I'm setting up a bow for target shooting, as I'm doing for this video with the Rezult and the Envision, so I compare like and like with a well set up bow, what I'm looking for is a draw length that I'm comfortable with and a let off that I'm comfortable with. And I'm trying to work out whether this let off that I have, 70%, is what I want. It does feel harder at 70% than my Supra at 65%. Now the reason for that is the Supra would have a longer valley than this bow's got, because this is very much at the start of the valley I'm hitting. So I might back the let off like one spot. So I give, maybe 75% let off, and I might rotate the module just like a little bit, less than half an inch, to get my anchor point where I kind of want it. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bend this arm just a little bit. And that broke really nice. It held really nice on the target. Look, would I be happy shooting the bow the way it is? Yes, I would. So when it comes to lots of bows I do reviews on, look, I say there's not a lot of difference, and there's not a lot of difference between bows, but this bow gives you the ability to customize the feel. It's not going to affect your shooting, it's not going to affect your scores, but it's going to affect how comfortable you feel with the bow. And I'm feeling I'd like just a little bit more valley, and I'm feeling I'd like the draw length just a little bit shorter. And it's not half an inch, it's like that much. Just a little. Right, there was a fair bit of wind. Well, there was a fair bit of wind then. And did blow my pin down to the red. So with that, definitely harder to shoot. So definitely harder to aim with the low let off than the high let off. And I'm not uncomfortable with the draw length, but I feel like I just like it a little bit shorter. So I'm going to, this D loop keeps moving, so we're going to get that fixed. So I'm going to rotate that. We're going to rotate the module down one little bit. We're going to increase the let off. And then I think I'm going to be happy with shooting this. Now when you're doing these modifications for yourself, like when you're changing the let off, when you're changing your draw length, shoot the bow first. And I should be shooting this bow first, and I should be becoming comfortable with it first. So you might say, well, you know, how do you know you like 90%? Shoot it first. Shoot it and then change it, then shoot it. And I'm saying, like, shoot it for a day and then see how your groups go. See how you feel, because it might just be you're not comfortable with this. It might be that I'm actually going to shoot better with this let off. And I'm just not, it's not what I'm familiar with, but it may be better for me long term. But we're going to set up, we're going to try the Envision now and sort of see how that goes. Right, so the Envision is one of my little favourite hunting bows. Now it feels very easy with the 90% let off. There's just, it feels, and you can feel it like picking up this bow. It feels lighter. It obviously is lighter. It has the same weights on it, but it's just, it feels more maneuverable than the Rezult. The Rezult feels like you're moving this big object. This feels compact. So let's see how this one goes at 70%. I couldn't get the shot off. I feel like I'm shooting at nationals. Now the bow itself feels nice, 70% let off. I don't think I'd shoot 70% for hunting. I can definitely see more movement with the Envision than the Rezult. So my sight pin there was moving around the gold, where with the Rezult it was moving around the 10 basically. I did get a bit of wind then, and it still didn't move out of the gold, where with the Rezult I feel like it moved more in the wind than the Envision. So I'm getting more movement with the Envision, but then when the wind came up, it didn't really affect it that much. But I didn't get the shot off, so. Now that broke really well. Like, that was a really nice shot. The draw length feels perfect on the Envision. Now I haven't changed, I haven't rotated the module. All I've done is I've shortened this. So the Envision, I feel the draw length is shorter than the Rezult. And they both come factory set at 29. But this feels absolutely perfect for me. I wouldn't change this at all for comparisons. That broke really well as well. Now the sight, my little sight, the bubble's clearly not in the center. And it could be me, but I'm feeling it's not in the center. Now, hopefully I've done videos about talking about getting your bubble aligned. All you do is put the bow up against the side of a door that is vertical, and put that, you can make sure your sight bar here is vertical, so put a spirit level up against that, and then make sure your spirit level is at 90 degrees. So you need two things. You need the bar here to be at 90 degrees, then you need this here to be square. So first off, line up your bar and then fix that. So we'll get Raynar to fix that up. He would have never done one, so it's a good opportunity for him to learn. That broke so well. The Envision just feels, and on 70% it feels very different than this bow felt at 90%. But it just breaks. It just breaks like from the shot, just so clean. There's no vibration. And it feels, I don't know where the arrows are going in the target, but it feels faster on 70%. Now the side pin's definitely moving more than the Rezult, but the shots I feel are breaking really nice. Now I did compare my video of my hunting setup versus my target setup, and my target setup was clearly better grouping than my hunting setup. It's not that the hunting setup was a bad group, but there was more variety in the shots, so more variance in the shots. The target group was more consistent. That wasn't so great. I don't know where that shot went. We'll just shoot one more. There was a bit of wind, but I can definitely see. So, definitely prefer the Envision just shoot than the Rezult. No question. But I feel like I aim better with the Rezult than the Envision. So, without having shot any scores, and that's what we're going to do in our next videos, we're going to compare scores. I feel like I'm going to shoot better scores with the Rezult. Last one broke. It broke really nice. So let's go and have a look. Okay, so I'm up here at the target. Now, I can't obviously tell the difference between the Rezult and the Envision because I shot them both together. But what is consistent is the height of the arrows. I mean, this is 18 meters, and the arrows have gone from the dead center of the 10 to high in the 7. I wouldn't have expected that. It's such a difference. I can get my fingers around the whole grip. I feel like the shots come off cleaner with 70%. I feel like my form is better on 70%. And this is something I fully recommend you to try out. Try out the 70%, 80%, 90%. And this is one reason why I love bows that are adjustable. And I like them adjustable in draw length. So you can experiment with slightly shorter draw length, so you can experiment with bending this arm down, like so, just bending it down versus being fully outstretched. That's how I like my arm to be, like that, as opposed to like that. I like this down lower. That's what I would like. So, and I think this is one of the advantages of a bow that you can adjust, because otherwise you've got to go and buy a module, and then it's like, well, like if you own a Matthews, I've got to buy a module, and then I'm buying a module of 75%, then I've got to buy a module for 85%, then I've got to buy a module for 95%. It's like, man, I don't know which one I'm going to like. It's a bit of a pain, and I'm not having a go at Matthew shoes because it's a lovely bow. It's just like if you want to experiment and try out stuff, it makes it really hard if you don't have a bow that you can do that with. So the bows you can do it with, So I'll go over again. Bowtech enables you to flip the modules to go from comfort to performance, and it does have a cable stop, but it's not that adjustable. PSE, you can change the let off more forward or back like the Elite, and you can buy modules for PSEs to go from low let off to a high let off. So basically it changes the range. So I think it goes from 90 to 80 and then 80 to 70 for a different set of modules. But the Elite, complete, like in one bow, you can do whatever you want with it, change the value, change everything. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to change the Rezult. I'm going to shorten the draw length a little bit on the Rezult. I think I might leave it at 70% and just shorten the draw length, because I'm happy with the Envision at 70%. So I think we'll just shorten the draw length and down a little bit on the Rezult, less than half an inch. And it's one of the issues with Elite. If you go, look, I want to adjust it half an inch, I don't know what half an inch is. I just slide the module one bit, and I don't know what that is. So I'll slide it one bit, make it one bit smaller, and then we'll try it out again. And then on the next video, we'll actually compare the scores of the Envision versus the Rezult at indoor, and then we'll do another one where we do it at 50 meters, compare the scores on a thing to get a good indication. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching.